Good evening and welcome to the Ring Ramble podcast. My name is Brad.
And I'm V. And today we're just going to get right into it because there's a whole lot that has changed since, post SummerSlam. So starting with Monday Night Raw, August 5th edition, Raw after SummerSlam. The show opened up with Ludwig Kaiser in the ring to introduce the new heavyweight champion Gunther. Gunther then spoke to the audience about being the longest reigning NXT UK champion for 870 days, longest reigning Intercontinental champion for 666 days, as well as being the King of the Ring and now the World Heavyweight Champion. He told the audience that if they thought his prestige that he brought to the Intercontinental title was great, then just wait and see what greatness will become of this title reign as World Heavyweight Champion. He claimed that the sport of wrestling and this business now belongs to him as champ, when he was then interrupted by Randy Orton. Randy reminded Gunther that the only reason he won this title is because of him, which confused me at first. But then it made sense because I was reminded that the King of the Ring in the final match, Randy's shoulders were not flat on the mat during the final pinfall that gave Gunther the win and the title of King of the Ring.
That's right.
Because of this triumph in getting the World Heavyweight Championship, it wasn't truthful, and Triple H seemed to think so as well as to suggest that they would battle it out a second time. Randy decided that the time to rematch is now for the World Heavyweight Championship, and Gunther agrees, and the match will take place at Bash in Berlin. Gunther told Randy that he was initially caught off guard by his interruption in this promo, and by the end of their conversation, Gunther whispers to Randy that not much catches him off guard, to which Randy replies that he wants Gunther to see the RKO coming. I think that was pretty cool. I thought it
was pretty awesome too.
Yeah, I thought it was like it gave me hype for this match because on one hand I'm like, well, okay, yeah, it's Randy, but Randy's time lately hasn't really been like that entertaining. He's just been the guy that would just come in help Cody
right,
with Kevin. So
right.
To me, I'm kind of like, oh well, whatever. But no, we have to remind ourselves this guy's career has been just so great. He's had such great matches, and with the likes of Gunther again. And this time for the championship, I feel like it's more meaningful than that of the King of the Ring at the time, because we kind of just knew who was going to win that one.
I just find it interesting, though, that it's actually, you have Randy Orton, who is a Smackdown
star,
guy,
yeah,
now going over to Raw.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes me think, is it possible that there is really nobody else in Raw at this moment that's on that level to actually challenge him? Or is it just trying to fix the mistake that was portrayed from the match at the King of the Ring when his, the shoulders weren't down?
Right.
So that'd be kind of an interesting thing, and it definitely makes that match. It definitely makes that title, match that he's going to have is going to be a little bit better.
Yeah, I think it grew on me because to me I was kind of like, I don't really know. But now that I'm looking at it, I'm like, it's going to be a good match. I mean, I thought the match was pretty good, too, at the King of the Ring.
Yeah,
despite the finish.
Yeah, the finish was a little bit awkward.
But part of me wonders if it was on purpose. I mean, for the sake of having this match now.
It's very possible.
It's possible.
Very possible.
But, yeah, so that's basically our thoughts on that. I think that would develop more into the closer we get to the pay-per-view and the more promos and content we get. So, moving on, Damian Priest storms to the ring, demanding that Finn Balor come to the ring for betraying him at SummerSlam. However, Finn was a no-show until he appeared on the Jumbotron and explained to Damian why he screwed him over. Also, Damian claimed that because he was homeless and he felt the only family he had was the Judgment Day, but his new family is the audience. Babyface moment.
I'm just shaking my head on that one.
I was kind of like, okay, yeah, we'll get about that. No, okay,
yeah.
We'll get about that in the end of my finishes.
Sure.
But anyways, Finn claimed that the Judgment Day was never meant to have a leader, which a role
is true.
Yeah, it was a role that Damian began to fulfill after winning the championship. He bullied other Judgment Day members around to do his dirty work.
Also Rhea.
Also Rhea as well. And Finn also recounted that following his loss to Seth for the World Heavyweight Championship, Damian had told Finn to man up, even though Damian caused the loss. I mean, I remember that. He distracted him. And Finn revealed that he's not the only one in this journey to silence Damian, revealing that the new Judgment Day, consisting of Finn Balor, Carlito, JD McDonough, Dominic Mysterio, and Liv Morgan, Damian heads backstage. We'll talk about that whole thing when we get to the later parts.
For sure. Okay.
I know, right? I saw you wanted to say something, but
right.
we'll get there. We'll get there. There's too much storyline on this Raw.
Right.
There's too much. Next, in a promo, Chad Gable tells Ivy Nile not to speak with Maxine Dupree, claiming he is completely done with the Alpha Academy now that he has a new family in the Creeds. Sure. Makes sense.
I mean,
and this
their new name.
Their new name is called the American Maid. So, which is
very
kind of
interesting
cool.
name.
But, yeah, I get it. I mean, well, he has no purpose to be with them anymore if they don't want him around. I mean, I feel like the Creeds, I mean, it's just going to put a lot more, it's going to make Chad Gable look like less of a gimmick. And I say this with full love for the Alpha Academy too. I don't mean it like that they're not good or they're only good for being gimmicks and like funny and like not that great. I don't mean it like that. I mean it like Chad Gable's such a good wrestler. I feel like some people like the Creeds will definitely elevate his status. However, I don't think that that's how it's going right now. I mean, because he's being beat up
right, yeah,
by the Wyatt Six.
The Wyatt
and
Six
stuff.
is not helping that.
Right. So, yeah. All right, next, CM Punk is next to the ring. He gave a heartfelt kind of emotional speech about himself and promises to give the audience more CM Punk matches instead of speeches. Seth Rollins interrupts, telling Punk that he has waited 10 years to beat up Punk. The two men charge at each other before Drew McIntyre interrupts and says people should celebrate him beating Punk at SummerSlam. Then Drew taunted Punk, saying he's still carrying the bracelet with his wife and dog's name on it. Punk runs towards Drew, and Seth gets attacked by Bronson Reed, who previously was in a promo.
Great.
Yeah, Bronson Reed was previously in a promo with General Manager Adam Pearce, demanding for a chance to make a name for himself. Seth took about 8 tsunamis.
Yes, it was.
From Bronson Reed. Basically, the finisher. For those who don't pay attention that much, it's a splash. How heavy is he?
360 something pounds, and he's doing a splash off the top rope.
Right. So
he did about 8 of those.
He did 8 of those, and apparently Seth had to get an endoscopy, so they said, because he was coughing dark blood, and they wanted to check for any internal bleeding. This was meant. So we found out later that this was meant to write Seth Rollins out of Raw for a moment because he was also previously kind of banged up a bit from SummerSlam. I think from SummerSlam, but I know, obviously we know his back problems and all that stuff. So, yeah, this was meant to write him out for a little bit. So, I thought it was pretty cool. I know you have a lot of thoughts on that.
I think that's great to see Bronson Reed actually on the big stage and going after one of the big stars. I think he's one of the most underrated wrestlers. He won the Andre the Giant Classic. I mean, the guy. This is an opportunity to push that guy, and I think that was the perfect way of doing it. It was showing, his just the aggression that he had, the multiple splashes on Seth. It was definitely a great statement for him, and I'm looking forward to see how they kind of pursue this. I don't really want to see him actually go up against Seth Rollins anytime soon because it's just going to get buried. But I'd like to see him continue moving forward because he's definitely underrated. He needs to be utilized more. I think that he has a lot of potential to do a lot of good things for a man his size. That he's very athletic for his size, and I enjoy it. I wish his music would have kicked in after he did it, though.
Yeah. You're like, his music?
Yeah, his music needs to kick in because it would have been perfect.
Yeah, I also agree. We were actually kind of confused, too, because he had won the Andre the Giant thing a while ago, and there was still, a period of time where he wasn't doing anything.
Nothing.
We were kind of like, isn't that supposed to give him a push? But I think the time is now, hopefully, they remain consistent with that, and he gets good matches or good, wrestlers to match with.
For sure.
So yeah. In another segment following this, moment with Seth Rollins and Bronson Reed, Punk was looking for Drew backstage with a chair, and Adam Pearce stops Punk to tell him that Drew was kicked out of the arena, and yeah, he was just mad. Anyways, moving on. Braun Breaker makes the claim that no one in the locker room can take the Intercontinental title away from him. Ilya Dragunov. Yeah, Ilya Dragunov. Yeah. I mean, is there anybody else? And this is what I said. Bash in Berlin. Ilya Dragunov is half German. I mean, perfect. He's got to go against him at the Bash in Berlin. I mean, they had
something at least. At least a match. I mean, I'm not saying have him go against Braun Breaker already, but because that would be, it wouldn't look good for Ilya. I think Ilya, because
Oh,
obviously
yeah.
Braun Breaker's not going to lose.
He's not going to lose, no.
So, I mean, we can't have Ilya go up against, like, again, coming into a match, and
Yeah, you're right.
you can't play the same angle that he gets speared again and the ref calls the match.
Yeah.
I mean, eventually, you know, you want to keep him strong still.
Right.
So,
yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah.
Then probably just something else, I think. But part of me wonders, like, who? Because the only people he's had some kind of connection to is Sammy, which, I mean, maybe that's the most possible, because not Braun, because he wouldn't beat him. And then Ricochet's the only other one, and Ricochet's not there no more.
Well, it wouldn't make any sense for him to go up against Sami Zayn.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
that's
I mean, I don't know.
the most likely, but it's not even very likely at all.
Well, they need to figure out something, because that guy
yeah.
needs to be on a pay-per-view.
I'm pretty sure it's going to be some, like, Sammy
Yeah.
J thing. But anyways. Next was JD McDonough versus Damian Priest. It was a good match. However, I don't like Damian's babyface angle
Agreed.
much. JD, I'm gonna just mention some stuff that happened in the match. But JD, during a suicide dive, looked like he hit his eye and face at the corner of the announce desk, and it was kind of nasty. But he looked kind of fine afterwards, so I was like, thank God. But I was like scared. But you know what? Finn attacked Damian before Damian can complete a South of Heaven on JD McDonough, and all of the Judgment Day assault Priest, which Rhea comes to his aid and goes to live first and helps him with the rest of the Judgment Day. They flee, and Damian and Rhea hug. Now, I know you don't like both of them as baby faces, both Damian and Rhea. I can understand the Rhea one, but not so much the Damian part.
No,
I don't understand Damian as a baby face. Sorry.
I don't think Rhea should be a baby face either. I mean, I think the thing is Rhea had an edge when she was kind of like an anti-hero and people liked her. Same with Damian Priest. But the idea that Damian Priest now is going to be hulking out like Hulk Hogan used to when it comes to like these, when he has like these big matches, I just find it to be kind of like goofy. He just doesn't fit for me, and I just hope that Rhea doesn't have the same Hulk out moment. Well, she kind of did have the Hulk out moment in a way when she was at SummerSlam with the popping in the shoulder.
Yeah, but it's a little more natural like that.
Yeah,
like
I guess
Damian
so.
did like, you know, the shaking fist kind of thing, and like
Sure.
getting up or like telling Gunther like no
Yeah.
that or come over here kind of
Yeah.
thing. And it's just kind of
It was
kinda
goofy.
cheesy.
It's cheesy
Yeah.
and goofy.
but yeah, I think I mean that's about it. I mean, it's just not it's
just some, I
he's
mean, I
just
don't know what
better
I mean. Maybe if you
healing.
make people in the comment, and if you want to comment and say what you think about it, because I mean, you know, I mean, obviously, there's, you know, if you think that like the Damian Priest angle and the Rhea angle is like a better thing for them, then, you know, just comment on it. But I mean, just me, I'm just saying that I just find it goofy. I just don't think it's believable. You know, I probably actually will go into this more when we get more to the Smackdown thing, just kind of showing like a person that can transition. So I'm talking about like Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns went to a babyface mode now, but he transitioned so effortlessly that it was a good transition. I don't think Damian Priest and Rhea are one of those type of people that can transition to that. So that's like, if you look at the example of like how SmackDown's doing it with Roman, then you'll see what I'm talking about, where somebody was easily able to transition over. So, you know, just my thoughts on that.
I think Damian has good reasons too, and also Rhea, but I could see why I kind of felt like those two things, like for Rhea and Damian, happened kind of on a whim, as opposed to Roman, where it was kind of like that slow build up.
Right, yeah. There is definitely a better storyline attached to Roman Reigns to get to where he is. But they also had a good storyline too for this. I just don't think.
Yeah, I just
don't think Damian.
Maybe
Priest,
it's the way that they're like portraying it. I just think maybe they don't do as good of a job to show like the transition as much as Roman does.
That's possible.
Okay, well, in a promo, Sami tells Ilya that he will make a great champion one day. Ilya leaves, and Jey Uso motivates Sami over the loss by Braun Breaker. Jey suggests that they both complete their unfinished business with the Judgment Day, hinting at a tag team title win. And Sami has a rematch with Braun Breaker next week. This is exactly what I predicted.
2 out of 3 fall match, though.
Oh, yeah. Specify that. But this is exactly what I predicted. I believe our first episode we ever made was that I'm pretty sure Sami was going to lose at SummerSlam, and then that was going to open up a Jey and Sami tag team opportunity.
Well, I actually think it's kind of funny that Ilya Dragunov has become like a backstage guidance counselor or motivational speaker.
Because he also was doing a motivational speech to Trick Williams
Yeah,
for like
I
FaceTime.
think it's cool in a way because it shows that work ethic and that mindset of a warrior, and he's kind of like giving it out, that information to people. But at the same time, I'd much rather have him wrestle than to do that in the backstage. But I get why they're doing it, because what they're doing is they're showing you that, hey, this guy's here, this guy's a threat, this guy has a lot of big potential coming his way, so I'm okay with it in that regard. But at the same time, it is like, he is kind of being like a guidance counselor kind of.
Yeah. Which is kind of like lame, but then I also think they don't really have anything to give him right now in the moment.
Right. Exactly.
So, he's got to appear on something. I mean, he does go into the speed championship, but we don't really watch the speed stuff.
He's in the speed champion?
He's not the speed champion, but
he
was in
the...
It? Yeah.
Oh, I had no idea.
But it's like a bracket at a time, so like when he loses, like he doesn't come back up again. I think that's how it works. If I'm wrong, let me know, but I don't watch it. But I did see his Twitter. I did see he was mentioned in it, I think like 2 weeks ago or something. Yeah. Well, Joe Gacy's video for the Wyatt Six was featured prior to the main event, Wyatt Six versus Gable and the Creeds. Gable debuts a new theme, and his new team, the American Made, with the Creeds. As for the match itself, it was a good debut for the Wyatt Six. And a little side note was that 11 years ago, the Wyatt family debuted in Baltimore as well. So it was kind of like a full circle moment for debuts for the Wyatt family.
It was pretty nice to see Joe Gacy pay homage to Bray Wyatt with his little inverted back of the head kind of thing.
That was something he did in NXT.
Right, but
it's possible that even back then it was inspired by Bray Wyatt as well.
Well, people on the internet acknowledged it as paying homage to Bray Wyatt.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Well, let's see how many people that said that watched NXT prior, because he did that before.
Right.
But it's still cool. Part of me does believe that even back then when I first saw him, I was kind of like, he gave me like the Wyatt vibe, Bray Wyatt vibe. And when he did that, especially.
Right.
But I thought Joe Gacy in particular did really great, but all members of the Wyatt Six had really good chemistry together, and I'm looking forward to more matches by the Wyatt Six. So, which I'm like, who else would they go against right now? Because they've really built this story with the Gable and the Creed, so we'll see.
Right.
But okay. Matches not mentioned today was Sheamus defending against Ludwig Kaiser, which was followed by Pete Dunne attacking Sheamus. Lyra Valkyria defending against Shayna Baszler after Sonya Deville and Zoe Stark interfered. And Damage Control saved Lyra after the match, which was surprising.
So Damage Control
our
saved
good guy Lyra. That's what I read. Which I'm like, okay, so are they good now? Because how does that happen?
I have no idea.
Yeah, it's weird, right?
Right.
Yeah, it was weird.
Very weird.
The New Day defending against the Authors of Pain, which Odyssey Jones.
And I think that's kind of BS that they didn't even televise that.
Oh, for us, they didn't know.
No, I actually kind of, that was like a big thing I saw on the internet, that he showed up, and I was kind of like, why didn't they show that? That should have been something to see.
Yes. Yeah, I agree. Yeah. But yeah, Odyssey Jones made his main roster debut, stopping Karrion Kross from interfering with the match between New Day and Authors of Pain.
And it seems like there's a little bit of drama there between Xavier Woods and Odyssey Jones and Kofi. Seems like Xavier Woods is not happy about the fact that Odyssey Jones is there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I saw something about that online.
Because I was about to say that he just looks like maybe he'd be a new member of the New Day.
No, it seems like Xavier Wood is not happy about it, according to what I saw online.
I thought it was really impressive, though, that he carried both members of the AOP.
Well, sure.
Which is, I guess, it's impressive, but it's also not surprising, too, because he is a bigger guy, too. But, yeah, it was pretty cool. But, he's been on the main roster, I think, for a year now. But they never... Odyssey Jones.
I thought... Oh...
But they never used him.
That's weird.
Like, he had moved up. I hope I'm right, because I read that. That he had been up in the main roster for over a year or a year now, and they just never used him, yeah. And last match we didn't mention was A-Town Down Under, which is Austin Theory and Grayson Waller defending against the Awesome Truth, Miz and R-Truth. And then Io Sky defending against Sonya Deville. And next week's matches include Bronson Reed to explain why he attacked Seth, which is not a match. I don't even know why it's a match, but this feature next week. Io Sky and Kairi Sane, Damage Control versus Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark in a number 1 contenders match for the WWE Women's Tag Team Championships, which are held by Isla Dawn and Alba Fire. And Braun Breaker versus Sami Zayn in a 2 out of 3 falls match for the Intercontinental Championship. So, obviously, Braun Breaker's winning that one. I don't really see him losing that one.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
Yeah. So now, moving on to NXT, the Great American Bash, Day 2, August 6th edition. I was surprised that this was the start of the day, but Pete Dunne versus Trick Williams.
Yep.
There was a lot of slapping in this match. And Trick Williams,
hard hitting.
Yeah, Trick Williams did a particularly very strong kick to Pete Dunne's face, which was very loud. Even the crowd was just yelling like, "Whoa, what the?" Trick was doing kind of I can't recount exactly what moves, but Trick was doing moves that he just didn't ever really do before. Yeah, it was just kind of like he was just a little bit different that time. But Pete Dunne actually won, which was kind of crazy.
Which was shocking.
We looked at each other across the room like, what?
Yeah, it was very shocking to see Pete Dunne actually beat, Trick Williams.
So I'm expecting, at this point, a heel turn for Trick. This is what I'm expecting, okay? Because I heard at the end of the night there was going to be a heel turn. But we'll get to that soon.
You are so wrong.
I know that now.
Right. You were wrong then.
All right. Well, I know you were right. You ended up being right.
I was right.
Next match was Tatum Paxley versus Kalani Jordan for the Women's North American Championship. It was a good match. Cool 450 splash by Tatum Paxley, and the crowd really seemed to want her to win the title, which is kind of surprising.
Very weird.
Yeah, and the Spanish Fly and Frog Splash combo by Kalani to retain the title. Tatum Paxley was kind of attacked
by Wendy Chu.
Yeah, which was kind of attacked. She just looked like she dragged her away just a bit.
She gave her signature move, the sleeper hold.
Oh, okay. See, the thing is the angle.
Yeah, it was
like
not
behind
a good
the
angle.
ring.
Well, that just made it look more menacing and evil.
I want to talk about Wendy and Tatum Paxley's characters. I don't like this rebrand of Wendy Chu, but I also think at the same time her character in the beginning with this like whole pajama gimmick was just not a good concept for a wrestler, I feel like.
Well, now she's a sleep demon.
Yeah, something like that now.
Right.
I feel like they were trying to capitalize on like that one Orange Cassidy match where he was like asleep. And do you remember that? I showed that to you. Well, anyways.
No, I don't remember that at all.
It's just not a good concept for a wrestler. Tatum Paxley's is a little bit better with like being kind of obsessive over people who hold hold titles and stuff and wanting to get one of your own. Makes sense as opposed to Wendy. But I also feel like Tatum Paxley doesn't really need to do all that. I think it throws me off.
She's a good athlete.
Because she is a really good wrestler.
Yeah, she's a good wrestler. I mean, she went over to TNA, and she did a pretty good job over there in TNA, and with her match over there, and the crowd really liked her. So, yeah, I don't know. Maybe they kind of tone it down a little bit.
Yeah, I think tone it down. I
mean, that's just me.
But yeah, I like her.
Yeah.
I just think that, I think it's a little too much at the promos. But,
right.
In a promo, Pete Dunne was interviewed about his win over Trick Williams, and he stated that if Trick continues to be blinded by loss, that this win is proof that Pete Dunne should take a go at winning the title, and then Trick then attacks Pete Dunne, which I fully agree with Pete Dunne. Like, if you're gonna be like moping around and stuff like that, and not accepting the loss and just moving forward, then Pete Dunne getting this win over Trick is just proof that he could just move on past Trick. Trick shouldn't get a one-way ticket just because he's whining.
Right.
Pete Dunne should be able to fight Ethan Page for the championship. Or does Ethan Page win? Speaking of which, Oro Mensah and Ethan Page for the NXT championship was next. Crowd chanted 1, 2, 3 to Ethan Page, which was, a reference to the things that have been happening in the past couple of weeks with Oro Mensah rolling him up for the 1, 2, 3 and destroying Ethan Page's ego.
Right.
Few things that happened was a cool backflip Pele kick of sorts by Oro to Ethan while Ethan was slouched on top of the top turnbuckle. Ethan did an Eagle's Edge to Oro on the Great American Bash props, which was a table with like hot dog buns and plates and napkins
exactly.
and other adjacent things.
Right.
And Oro took a nasty fall. Like, it worked so well in sequence, but I honestly thought that it could have been fake. Yeah, the fall he did where he went up to the rope and he like looked like he slipped, and that's when Ethan gave him like a kick.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it almost looked like faked, but then it looked so real at the same time.
Like
but
it could have been like a miscalculation that he actually fell and they quickly.
Yeah, but the way that Ethan quickly reacted felt
Right.
like, okay, that maybe that was meant to happen.
Or just that Ethan's a pro.
That too. That's very possible. I mean,
That's
he's
kind of what I would.
pretty-
That's what I'm leaning on.
Well, yeah. Ethan replied with a kick fast, and it seemed like a genuine fall. Oh, yeah, that's what I was basically talking about. But he gives a second Ego's edge and retains the title.
Picks up that 1, 2, 3.
Yep.
Proving that he could have beat him the entire time.
Oh, you're gonna love this one. In a segment, Wesley gets emotional about his. I'm already laughing. Wesley gets emotional about his time in MSK, having been in the team. To them being alone in NXT, struggling to get the North American title in specific, not any higher than that, but he looks forward to winning the tag team titles. This guy, man, like, I just find it so absurd. Why is the North American title like?
That's his hill
top,
to die on.
yeah.
I mean, it's like
there's a title greater than that.
Yeah.
Like
go after Ethan Page's, dude. I mean, seriously, why are you wasting your time on that North American Championship?
Yeah, like just because you consider yourself, and a lot of people consider you the best North American title holder, like that doesn't mean that that's the only thing that you can be. You know, like you could be more than that.
Right.
Yeah, and we don't like the fact that he's always butthurt about something. Yeah. But yeah, so just remember, Wesley used to be with Zachary Wentz. That was his name. I kept calling him Nathan Wentz for some reason. But he was with Zachary Wentz in NXT as MSK, but Zachary left to TNA, and Wesley was alone. So, next match, Joe Hendry versus Joe Coffey. This was
one of the greatest matches of the evening.
Yeah, it was so good.
Such a good match.
The pop for Joe Hendry was insane as per usual.
Pretty much.
Hendry started the match by jumping over the rope and onto remaining members of Gallus, Mark Coffey, and Wolfgang.
Remember, he did do his pose.
And he did his pose.
Then he jumped
over the rope. Then he jumped over. That's
awesome.
Right. Later on, Hendry is pulled by Gallus at ringside and onto the announce desk, alerting the distracted ref to see Wolfgang and Mark. Oh, wait. Oh, my bad. Sorry, I just read that so wrong. This tiny font. Let me restart. So, Hendry was pulled by Gallus onto ringside. He attacked the rest of Gallus by himself, gathered a chair, and pulled in Eddie Guerrero by handing the chair to Wolfgang and then slamming himself onto the announce desk, alerting the distracted ref to see Wolfgang and Mark seemingly hitting Hendry with the chair, to which they were kicked from ringside, which was so funny because you could see Joe
Coffey's epic. No.
Yeah. He was holding his fist in the air.
Holding his fist in the air. It was hilarious.
Yeah. So, Joe Hendry gives a standing ovation and wins.
It was an incredible match. Following
the match, he had like a little tiny interview, and he states that he likes it here in NXT, and he might just stay for a lot longer, which makes me happy because every time he comes in, I just smile. He's just so great.
Yeah, he's a great wrestler.
Yeah, he's a good wrestler. He's got
great gimmick.
All-rounder.
Yeah.
He's an all-rounder for sure. All right. Main event match. MSK versus Axiom and Nathan Frazier for the NXT Tag Team titles. Good match, as it was before.
Really good match.
Which we talked about in our first ever recap. The first match that they had was really good. Zach Wentz did his Bronco Buster, which is a move we haven't seen in a while in the WWE.
It went a very, very long time.
Oh, yeah, very long time.
Very long time.
Yeah. Axiom accidentally kicked Nathan Frazier during the match, but however, they retained with Axiom's golden ratio. By the end of the match, or after the match was over, all men shook hands again, and Wesley was distraught by the loss, and the rest of the Rascals comforted Wes, to which Wes kicks Trey Miguel and hits Zach like low blow, revealing a heel turn. He yelled at Zach that he was left alone.
You left me alone is what he was saying.
Abandoning Wes in NXT, Zach and Trey tried to connect with him more, but Wes attacked them again, closing the show, which was not the heel turn I was expecting. Because you think it makes sense. I don't think it makes sense, and here's why. They just got together, and this is my own personal opinion. That's what makes it better. But it doesn't though.
It does.
No.
That was his team. That was where they were doing their little hand gesture. and their little goofy hand gesture they were doing to show that they had that little childlike innocence amongst themselves. And he turned on them, made it the best heel turn he could possibly do.
Okay, but then he's going solo again. I'm saying he's just better as a tag team
Yeah, but now
guy.
he's going to have rage and malice and all this stuff attached to it, and he's not going to be all that, like wearing his heart on his sleeve. He's now going to be coming out aggressive.
I hope that's how it's going to go.
That's exactly what's going to happen.
Because part of me believes that if he is going to be a heel, some heels you kind of press on like this one issue that made them so evil.
Well, his moment was the fact that he was left alone by those guys.
Yeah,
by his
I
friends.
just hope he doesn't mention the North American title again.
And I'm pretty sure he'll mention that too.
Well, match is not mentioned. Was Ren Sinclair defending against Kendall Gray, which I don't even know who Kendall Gray is. I think I mentioned that last week. I don't know who that is, but I know Ren Sinclair. So, yeah, that was a match not mentioned. Next week, by the way, everybody retained, which I said last week. I felt like someone had to lose this week. But for the entirety of the American Bash, no one lost. So.
Well, yeah. I mean, who was going to lose?
I don't know, somebody. But
No.
anyways, next week's NXT shows will include Tony D'Angelo versus Charlie Dempsey for the NXT Heritage Cup. Axiom and Nathan Frazier versus Chase U for the NXT Tag Team
Wait a minute.
Championship.
Now, why is it that Chase U, though?
Dude, that's what I'm saying.
It doesn't
I don't
have
think I was paying attention because...
It doesn't have the full members of Chase U.
Oh, that's what you're talking about.
Right.
That it's because it's going to be... what's his face? It's going to be Andre Chase and Rich Holland.
Yeah, Rich Holland is actually the guy now.
I don't know. Maybe because...
Did we miss something?
Wait, didn't what's his face? What's his name? The other guy, the other one. What's his name? He's the one with the headband. He's the big one. Andre Chase and. Oh God.
I mean,
Oh God, I'm blanking
honestly,
so hard.
I'm not a Chase U fan.
We're not really
Yeah.
Chase U fans to be honest, but I like Riley Osborne though. He's great. He's good. He kind of reminds me of Evan Bourne, which is kind of funny because Evan Bourne, because they kind of have the same kind of name. Duke Hudson.
Oh yeah, Duke Hudson.
Duke Hudson, that was his name. Duke Hudson, I think he had a match, with for the Heritage Cup.
Or didn't he have that match with Obafemi?
Obafemi, thank you.
Yeah, and Obafemi must have hurt him.
Blanking.
No.
I'm blanking so
Obafemi
much.
must have hurt him then.
Well, okay, so that's probably why he's not there. He's broken. Next, Obafemi will defend the NXT North American Championship. They didn't even specify. I looked it up, and I'm like, who is it? They didn't specify. And, oh my God, your favorite, Eddie Thorpe versus Lexis King. We love Lexis King. It's Eddie Thorpe's character change.
Barn-burning match right there.
Eddie Thorpe's character change. What the heck is that?
So he's
From
a
Native
DJ
American
now.
to DJ.
He's a DJ now.
This is so funny to
It's
mention those
goofy.
two things together.
Yeah, it's weird. It's weird.
But we love Lexis King. He's great. He's got good facial hair.
Yeah.
All right, moving on to SmackDown, August 9th edition. Cody arrives to the ring first. He speaks to the crowd about how he has been thinking about who he wants to defend his title against at the Bash in Berlin. He was then interrupted by Solo, Tama Tonga, and Tonga Loa, who were holding the tag team championships, which is weird for Tonga Loa to be holding that championship. However, I get it because Jacob Fatu is hurt.
Jacob Fatu is not
but
there.
He
Yes.
did not win that. He did not win that. And we know that even if he did, he probably wouldn't have won it, anyways. That guy has lost so much aura, as they say.
It's all good.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Botching.
It's
But
okay.
Solo wants to talk about how he would have been champ at SummerSlam and he wants a rematch. Cody says that he's delusional to ask about a rematch. The Bloodline were about to jump Cody when Kevin came to his aid with 2 chairs. The Bloodline backed up and Solo told Cody that he'll deal with him later after he finds Roman Reigns. Cody tells Kevin that they have to talk. And Cody says he wants to face Kevin for the title at Bash in Berlin, to which Kevin says that he doesn't deserve a title match since he hasn't earned it given his wins and losses this year. The crowd chanted, "You deserve it." And Cody said to Kevin, "You can say no all you want, but he's going to make that match happen." After the promo, A-Town Down Under versus the Street Profits, number 1 contender match for the Tag Team Championships against the Bloodline. The Street Profits win. Pretty straightforward. It was, kind of a standard match for for both teams, so not much to be said there.
Pretty much, no.
I kind of expected Austin Theory and Grayson to lose.
Yeah, and I mean, it's pretty much, is this going to be the time for the Street Profits this time? I mean, because, last time they went into the finals and they ended up losing. So, I mean, is this going to be just another one of those moments where they're going to get to the end, and then all of a sudden, it just falls short again? I mean,
well, I hope that doesn't happen, but who they have to go against next, we'll talk about that soon. In a promo, Cody tells Kevin he does deserve the title match in front of Nick Aldis. Kevin says Brandy deserves to fight Gunther because of the King of the Ring, but he doesn't deserve it to have a match with Cody. After Nick Aldis tells him he is in negotiation for a rematch with Roman Reigns with Cody, Kevin gets upset and tells Nick that Roman is the least deserving of getting a rematch with Cody. Nick Aldis tells Kevin he's worthy, and the match is on for the Bash in Berlin for the undisputed title. I feel a little less excited for this one as opposed to Rennie and Gunther, but it still will be a good match.
I disagree. I actually think it's going to be pretty awesome to see Cody Rhodes and Kevin Owens.
No, I agree. It'll
Yeah,
be a good match.
I think it's going to be a better match than the Randy Orton and the Gunther. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's possible. All right. In a segment, Tiffany is planning for Nia Jax's championship celebration next week. Pretty Deadly compliments Tiffany's plans for a pink celebration. Chelsea Green tells Tiffany that Nia doesn't even like pink, and Tiffany's only faking her friendship with Nia to cash in on her, to which Tiffany calls Chelsea arrogant and oblivious, which I agree with Chelsea Green. I mean, dude, if you're making the championship party thing, like celebration, pink, then clearly it's going to be pink for you when you cash in on her and win it right there. That's how I feel.
Yeah, I mean, that does make a lot of sense, that this party is probably just going to be a way for her to cash in.
Yeah. And it'll be all pink and stuff, and it will fit her aesthetic completely. So that's how I feel about that. Jade Cargill versus Alba Fire next. We were a little bit nervous about this one, but luckily only lasted 2 minutes.
It wasn't a very long match, but obviously we all kind of aware of the reason why this match occurred and who was fighting against each other, being that Alba is actually the better in the ring type wrestler
compared to Isla Dawn.
Yeah, and she was pretty much kind of carrying the match with Jade.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't really it wasn't bad.
No, it
was
wasn't
quick.
It was fast.
But it wasn't bad, because it was concerning at the beginning, but it ended up being a pretty cool little match.
Yeah.
Jade showed her power, and so yeah, it wasn't bad.
Yeah, and Blair Davenport came
Once
in
again
to help the Unholy Union.
Yes.
Attacking Bianca and Jade, and I spelled her name wrong, but Naomi comes to assist. And by the way, her outfit and style looks so good.
She looks great.
She looked great. I was like,
great.
This is the style that she needs to have. I feel like her hair, like the way it was, and the outfit she had was perfect for her.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah, and I was initially expecting a 3v3 for next week, which was Unholy Union with the Blair Davenport and Jade, Bianca.
Yeah, it ended up being Naomi versus Blair Davenport.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, all right.
Okay.
All right, LA Knight. He is celebrating his championship win at SummerSlam with a new theme song. The Def Rebel, we don't need to be doing this just because we win championships.
We don't need to change songs every time somebody wins a championship.
No, we really don't.
I mean, his original music was good.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it sounds kind of the same.
It is kind of the same.
But
they
it
just
has,
changed the
more
color.
drums.
The color font and everything is different.
They just added more drums and stuff, but
right.
I don't get it. I mean, just leave it alone.
And a lot of on the screen.
Well, I mean, that is that's not the work of Def Rebel though.
I know.
But the crowd chanted, "You deserve it" to LA Knight.
Which he does.
He does deserve it. Which you're not a big fan of LA Knight,
I'm
but
not,
you can acknowledge
I can
he does
acknowledge
deserve
the
it.
fact that the guy has been in the game
there
for a long time, and now that he has the opportunity to have a championship belt under him, I think it's great. I'm glad that it's this championship and it's not anything above that.
Which I don't see him getting anything.
Yeah, I don't
above
see
that.
him going in that route of being like a world heavyweight champion.
Well, he's not on Raw, but
well,
I mean,
either
we're
way.
undisputed.
Yeah,
at
so
that
either way,
stays.
this championship is perfect for him.
Yeah, I agree. Santos Escobar kind of interrupts a little bit, comes in to tell Knight that he sucks and that he will be United States champion, with everybody saying Santos Escobar sí.
Yeah, it was
Felt the need to say that because I thought that was pretty funny.
It was kind of funny.
And Knight tells Santos that he's not taking the title off of him and he first needs to qualify against Andrade. But before that, Giovanni Vinci vignette. He's got a little rebrand there. He's more Italian than he used to be. So I'm looking. Hopefully, it means something, because I remember Apollo Crews had this freaking epic vignette of like motivation and getting a second chance in being in the WWE again, and then they just did not use him at all until now, ish. Yeah, so I hope something happens with him. It's a little bit different in this scenario. I just wondering who he would go against, but. Yeah,
I mean,
we'll
it's
see
cool.
what happens.
I mean, yeah, it's cool.
I liked him in the Imperium.
Yeah, he was good.
Even though he was like, people say that he's not really like the best one. He's like the last one when he was in the Imperium. But in quality.
But all of them were good.
But all of them were good. That's what I'm saying. Like,
I mean, it's just that he was more of the. He just didn't really have. He didn't really have much to offer. I mean, he offered like his in-ring ability, but he wasn't like.
He wasn't announcing.
Ludwig
for Gunther.
was like had the announcement, and then. When Gunther would take off his jacket and, and that cool little swirl move that Ludwig did was cool.
Yeah.
And Giovanni just kind of stood there with his arms around it, holding it in his back. That's all he really did. So now that he has this, I'm like a rich Italian guy that, and his vignette was filmed in Las Vegas, I was all sitting there going, okay.
Yeah.
So he's gonna be like that.
What?
And you know what? I'm going to shoot this out here just because I just think this would be kind of funny to lead into like having Tony D'Angelo and the family actually join this guy.
Oh, dude, I didn't think about that.
I think it really had that mob vibe. He was totally doing it, but it wasn't a cheesy mob. It wasn't a cheesy,
it was like classy
vibe.
Italian.
He was like a classy Italian like kind of vibe.
Like I got a nice car and
yeah,
like, nice
I think that actually kind of opens up the family coming into the to the main roster. I think that actually. I don't know why that just popped in my head right now. I think I was just kind of looking over the image of that his vignette, and yeah, I think that really opens that up. Mm-hmm. So maybe. I mean,
maybe.
Who knows?
I mean,
yeah.
Dude, I like the family too, and I love when they added Luca Crucifino because he watches so perfectly. The name, the fact that he's a lawyer.
Eagle.
Yeah. It's cool.
Yeah.
It's cool as heck.
That might be kind of cool.
Yeah. All right. Andrade versus Santos Escobar. Berto and Angel just decided to drag Andrade out and start attacking him while the ref was distracted. And our heroes, Apollo Crews and Baron Corbin, beat up Berto and Angel and take them out of the ringside.
It was great.
Dragon screw by Andrade onto Santos was gross.
Very nasty.
I've never seen anyone twist that much when that happened. And the poison Rana by Santos onto Andrade was also very nasty.
But off the top rope.
Off the top rope, yeah, which is just
very, very good.
This is 3 matches now from Andrade that he's delivered such like
an
awesome
double
wrestling.
Moonsault, yeah. Now that double moonsault once again.
Oh yeah, that as well.
And yeah, another great match by Andrade for sure. I mean, he is definitely. I think right now I will say, on SmackDown, he is probably
He's
probably one of the best.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I would say he is the best right now.
I would say he's the
doing
best
some of the
singles
best
guy,
work.
but we're
yeah,
talking
he's doing
like
the best work right now.
We're talking like DIY. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but he's doing the best work right now.
Unfortunately for Andrade, Carmelo distracted him, and Santos gets the win. Bullshit.
Which is really, that's a shame.
It made me sad.
Yeah, I don't know really what I don't think Santos should be.
I think the reason why they did this is because they definitely want to open up another match between Carmelo and Andrade.
Yeah, but they could have had them do that in the finals, leading up to that number 1 contenders match.
Is Carmelo in it?
I'm assuming as much, probably.
Maybe, yeah.
Oh, unless you're gonna have them do the match at that bash at Berlin? Is that what's gonna happen?
Okay. Yeah. All right. Eitan Thunder interrogate Nick Aldis. Theory volunteered Grayson to fight Kevin Owens next week, and Grayson got upset, and Austin Theory replied, "I got your back like you got mine." That's crazy. Which I like because
Yeah, we kind of see where that's going. Yeah.
All right. DIY promo before the match talking about their loss to the Bloodline. Pretty cool for Pretty Deadly and DIY, which will. I didn't even write anything. I didn't write anything.
I mean, just basically DIY.
DIY
ended up winning.
Yeah. Which is what matters. And in that case, with the Street Profits,
It's the same match.
as they had last time, yeah.
Yeah. And ended up being them at the final.
Well, I hope DIY wins, which kind of sucks for the Street Profits, but
maybe this time might be different.
if you saw our wrestling favorites, obviously I'm gonna go for DIY, but I also wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind if Street Profits got it.
I think it's time for the Street Profits.
I agree with you.
I think so.
I don't disagree. All right. Tama Tonga claims that they can't find Roman Reigns anywhere before Solo Sikoa approaches the ring with the rest of the bloodline. He speaks directly to Roman, telling him that he's the tribal chief now. That Solo's the tribal chief now. And if Roman wants to be the tribal chief, he's got to take away the necklace from him, also known as the Ulafala. And Roman's music plays, and he approaches the ring, Tama Tonga charging his way towards Roman. Roman stopped him, following by Tonga Loa. He hit both of them with steel steps, and Roman enters the ring to give a Superman punch to Solo, which drops the Ulafala necklace. Roman grabs it before Tama Tonga attacks him and hands it back to Solo. Tonga Loa and Tama Tonga get attacked by Roman while Solo walks away. Roman spears Tama Tonga through a barricade, and Roman gathers a chair to assault Tonga Loa in the middle of the ring. Solo puts on the Ulafala while Roman watches. Roman replies with hitting Tonga Loa with the chair some more. And Solo eggs on Roman to come and get the Ulafala. Roman says no to Solo, and the crowd chants OTC. Pretty cool.
It was awesome.
Yeah, I mean, too bad Jacob Fatu's hurt. That would have definitely elevated the promo some more, in my opinion. But it was good as is, I think. I like that Roman's getting this, like, he's more chill, because, like, I think back then the old tribal chief would kind of been like, oh, you can't touch that, that's mine, kind of thing, and kind of, like, be hot-headed and charge. But the fact that he's kind of more matured, where he's like, I'm going to stand back and kind of let things kind of go naturally, because he already knows he's going to be Solo whenever they cross paths, like, for an official match.
Right.
So, yeah. Next week, match card for SmackDown. Nia Jax will have what we talked about, the championship celebration, which is assembled and hosted by Tiffany Stratton. The Street Profits versus DIY in a number 1 contenders match for the WWE Tag Team titles. Kevin Owens versus Grayson Waller, and Naomi versus Blair Davenport. Now we're moving on to our side notes. I will say that there was more side notes I was anticipating on saying. However, a lot of it was kind of the post-show press interviews from SummerSlam. But, I'm going to refrain from saying anything because we're kind of way past all that stuff. So, there's more ongoing situations to mention, first of which, Triple H is introducing a new women's championship, which is the Women's Speed Championship, which is scheduled to start on September 4th. Like we said, we don't really know what's going on with Speed, so we're probably not even going to know with this one either. So,
right.
But it's still cool that they have a new one. I just hope that maybe they'll add the
very
anticipated, an Intercontinental or United States one, something like that.
Something like that.
All right. Lucha Brothers, Rey Fenix and Penta El Zero Miedo are expected to leave AEW soon as their contracts are ending.
There's a lot of talking about that they're coming to WWE.
And they want to get a straight shot to the main roster, bypassing NXT, which is valid.
Which makes sense.
Yeah, they don't really need to go to
NXT.
Do not.
It would be interesting to see where they go, and if it actually makes the tag teams better.
Yeah.
I think they actually can bring it. I just don't know if they could do a lot of their moves, though.
You think so?
Oh, dude, they do a lot of
I know
that I don't think are allowed.
True.
But I'm actually kind of.
I know you're looking forward to it.
I am.
You like Penta.
I do.
So, yeah, pretty cool. I'm excited if it does officially happen.
Agreed.
Because things are kind of just in discussion, not really official yet. So
agreed.
Once that is official, I mean that's gonna be really awesome. Moving on, Booker T thought that Roman Reigns' return at SummerSlam was premature. He mentioned that the return shocked him, which I don't agree with. We saw that coming. And however, he loved the return. He also felt that Roman could have some more time off, which I agree. I did predict, Roman would return at SummerSlam, but it does feel kind of rushed. I mean, it doesn't feel like it's been that long since WrestleMania, so.
But it seemed like it was the perfect time for
it does seem like the perfect time. I agree with you.
I mean, I get what Booker T's saying because it's like him trying to just for his health and everything.
That's true.
But I mean, it was the most. It made the most sense.
Yeah, but then at the same time too, I felt like they could have also built the bloodline a little bit more, because.
I think they already kind of did that already.
No, I meant like to add more people and kind of like.
But he's gonna be bringing those people.
Roman? Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know how to explain it.
How many other people can Solo add?
I don't know, man. Depending on who feels like which side they want to be on.
I'm just saying that's too many people then, because it's like, who's gonna be? There's not. I don't know how many other family members there are left.
Oh well, yeah, that's true. Well, we only know of two. So minus the twins. We have the twins and Zilla and Hikuleo.
Which the twins are supposed to be going in NXT.
So who knows?
Who knows?
But speaking of Roman Reigns, he set a new record for SummerSlam. His return garnering over 100 million social media views, which is pretty cool.
Yep.
And another update for Roman is that the moment in SummerSlam where he whispers to Cody outside the ring at SummerSlam, the statement he said was revealed. As he told Cody, "It's only a matter of time. That belongs to me," referring to the undisputed title. Which, connecting to a thought Cody did mention at the post-show interview, that Roman Reigns is entitled to do a rematch because he held the title for so long, and that it will happen. Which, pretty cool, because it's not an entirely like babyface moment for Roman. He still kind of feels like that's his property.
But actually, if the match does occur like that, we already know
Cody's
that Solo and all them are going to interfere, and Roman, Reigns is going to lose.
Yeah. So, yeah, we'll see, because Nick Aldis did say that he wanted to give Roman the rematch now, which not happening yet because of Kevin, but soon it seems like. Vaguely, this is like kind of a little more niche, I guess you would say. I mean, kind of. Enzo Amore, he recently spoke that he wants the WWE to acknowledge him and the 6-year span career he has had on the promotion, because he is not officially recognized on the WWE's website alumni section. Being that he was a 2-time Cruiserweight champion, he is hoping to be recognized in 2025 next year. Dude,
I don't know.
It's hard because he had such a bad attitude backstage, and it's like, what respect are they going to give you?
I mean, and the tag team was cool and everything.
It was cool.
I mean, but he just was great on the mic.
Yeah. He was okay, like,
I don't know.
I just, whatever.
I mean, I don't really know.
But even, like, 2-time Cruiserweight champion, like, Cruiserweight didn't last that long.
No.
And
I didn't even know he was a 2-time
I didn't even know he was a Cruiser. I knew he had Cruiserweight before, but I didn't know 2-time. Yeah, I mean, that's basically it about that. I don't really see that happening. That's basically why I wanted to mention it, was that I kind of feel like it won't happen.
Well, what do you think?
Oh, yeah.
Let us know what you guys think.
Yeah,
do you guys
exactly.
think that Enzo has a case here?
Do you think Enzo Amore will be acknowledged at the
do
Tribal Chief?
you think he has a case here? Like, do you think he has, like, that they should be owing him that?
Yeah. All right. Final side note. This thing is kind of wild. But, Bobby Lashley, he is leaving the WWE.
Which is weird.
But this is the even weirder part. He claims that he doesn't have a connection to Triple H, and that Vince McMahon looked at me like a star, and that Vince understood him as opposed to Triple H, whom he never heard from even when he tried.
Okay, I have to say something, though, because I remember when Bobby Lashley was there with Vince McMahon and he left. Because he came back. He actually went to the Indies. He went to like other promotions. Yep. He built a brand just like Drew McIntyre did as well. And he came back, and it was a good thing. But then when he came back and he did the thing with the Street Profits and everything, and he was more of a side guy, I think that's kind of it's on him in a way, I guess.
Well, I think you're moving ahead in a little bit, because I was going to say that it doesn't make sense for him to say Vince McMahon looked at me like a star when he arguably gave him the worst storylines of the WWE in the worst era possible. I mean, if you guys don't know, like the Lana storyline with Lana cheating on Rusev with Bobby Lashley, and then the marriage or a wedding ceremony being cut off by Liv Morgan being in love with Lana. It was just such a stupid storyline.
All those wedding storylines never really work out unless it was the Macho Man and Elizabeth one. That was about it. The
Lashley sisters thing, which like literally almost ruined his career, and it was only used to prop up Sami Zayn's heel character. The pandemic era, when he had the Hurt Business, that was literally the best thing he has ever had, and then they broke them up for no reason.
Yeah, just banned them all. And now none of those guys are even there anymore. Or Gender's gone. Wait, Gender
wasn't in the Hurt Business?
Who else was in the Hurt Business?
It was Shelton Benjamin, Cedric Alexander.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I'm sorry.
But all of this is to say that all of that was under Vince McMahon's control. So to me, I'm like, dude, really? You think that Vince McMahon understood you and thought you were a star? I mean, dude, he would not be treating you like that. I know, like, it's a business. You got to do what you got to do.
Right.
But, like, that was, like, he gave you the worst of the worst, man. Like,
that's true. It wasn't really good for him at that time.
And then, as of recent, like, the Pride wasn't really booked well either, which was the team with the Street Profits.
Right. It wasn't.
No. So.
But didn't he get hurt?
He did get hurt.
So, I mean.
But.
Isn't that kind of the thing?
I mean.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess it wasn't going anywhere at all.
No, I didn't feel like it was. Like, they did get the match at WrestleMania.
Right.
Against the Final Testament.
Yeah.
Which was cool, but after that, it kind of just fell off.
That's true.
Well, for this, Bobby is apparently expected in AEW since his time in WWE is nearing the end, which.
I mean, hopefully, good luck to him.
He looks great for his age.
Yeah, good luck to him.
He just got surgery, so I'm pretty sure when he recovers, he's gonna make his way over there.
For sure.
And, you know, I feel like he'd do a good job. I mean, man was in ECW.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's going to do well.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's basically it for this week. Quite a lot of stuff that's happened, you know, given everything following SummerSlam.
Right.
It was a very crazy SummerSlam with a lot of changes, as we can see. So, yeah, seems like really quickly we've already started talking about the Bash in Berlin when this stuff has just ended with SummerSlam. So yeah, I look forward to everything that's going to be happening in the next weeks that we did mention and things that we don't know about yet. So yeah, thank you guys so much for listening.
Yeah, you guys have a good evening.
All right, bye.
Bye.